The scene opens with Fred, a sensitive and highly valuable synth, who has unfortunately been captured and tied up like a forgotten delivery package. Hob, the ruthless AI researcher, decides to interrogate Fred, even showing an image from Fred's own dream, very Black Mirror-like, involving someone named Anita. And what does Hob discover? Apparently, the synths were created by the mysterious David Elster, who, after kicking the bucket, left his robotic children scrambling for a desperate escape. Fred, being the stoic character he is, prefers to shut down his thoughts rather than give up any clues. And what does Hob do? He turns Fred off, like switching off a TV when the remote's not working. Well, that conversation didn't go very well. Meanwhile, back at the Hawkins household, Joe and Toby arrive just in time to find little Sophie in tears, always a great sign that something has gone terribly wrong. Matilda, the older sister and queen of sarcastic comments, informs them that Laura went out to return Anita, prompting Toby to sprint like he's running from a T-Rex in Jurassic Park. Naturally, he passes right by his mom without noticing and nearly gets flattened by a truck. Anita saves him, diving in front of the truck like a true, robotic hero. Toby breaks his wrist from falling off his bike, and Laura, ever the picture of sympathy, yells at him for, well, being reckless. Here comes the plot twist. Toby doesn't care and runs off to check if Anita, the damaged synth, is okay. In some abandoned pub, why is it always a pub? Leo, the human synth hybrid, and Max, a sensitive synth, are discussing their plan to rescue their robotic friends. Leo, looking a bit shaken and with a drink in hand, seems like he was programmed with the typical troubled hero cliché, is worried about Anita, since they found out her memory was wiped and she was sold off like any other household appliance. Things get tense when they hear about a murder on Melbridge Road. Spoiler, the murderer is none other than Niska, a synth with homicidal tendencies and impeccable taste in stolen clothes and blue contact lenses to blend in as a human. Now, let's dive into the slightly disturbing romantic subplot involving Joe and Anita. The synth, already partially disassembled after her heroic collision, suggests Joe do a full-body inspection on her, for insurance purposes, of course. Joe, clearly uncomfortable, hesitates, but Anita doesn't. She starts taking her clothes off and begins the repair herself, like she's changing a light bulb. Things get a bit weird, and Toby, the curious son, peeks through the door. Joe, resisting temptation, points to him because things were heading toward an ex machina moment, leaves the garage only to find Laura, his wife, standing there with that "I know what you did last summer" look. Classic. Meanwhile, across town, Niska, the rebellious synth, heads over to Greg's place, a guy she met at the pub. Things seem to be going well until she finds out Greg is married and, in a fit of jealousy or maybe just synth rage, she plans to stab him. But surprise! He's just picking up his daughter's toys, as she's coming over for the weekend. Niska decides to leave Greg alone, but not without leaving a little parting gift, a knife casually tossed on the couch. Because nothing says "I'm a normal guest" like a weapon in the room. In the end, Matilda, who clearly inherited the family's hacker genes, tries to unlock Anita's secrets, only to find out that, surprise, she's actually called Mia. When she fiddles with Anita's code, she accidentally triggers something dormant, and the synth, almost panicking, grabs the girl's wrist and begs for help. The next day, Laura decides to run a pain test on Anita, only to discover that her synth doesn't feel pain and, even worse, knows way more than she should about human emotions, including a certain Tom from Laura's past. One thing I wouldn't do is stick a toothpick in the synth's eye. Personally, I wouldn't poke around an intelligent, emotionally advanced robot, especially if it's already proven it can bake better cookies than I can. But back to the story, Hob discovers that the nightclub used to hire Silas Kapik as a modder, so he decides to pay a little visit to the prison for a chat. When shown pictures of Niska and Anita, Silas only recognizes the latter. He modified and sold her. And to make things even more complicated, another guy, Leo, had also been asking about Anita a few weeks earlier, and their conversation ended in punches being thrown. Silas, trying to avoid any blame, emphasizes that Leo is human, but the synth he was hanging out with? That one was smart. Hob, wasting no time, orders his men to focus on Leo. Meanwhile, Pete is stuck in "I can't believe I skipped breakfast with my wife for a phone call with Karen" mode. Jill, tired of it all, suggests they take a break, and Pete, who's suspended from work, has nowhere to go. Detail: he's convinced that Simon, Jill's synth, is the root of their issues, leading to a spectacular scene where he nearly punches the robot in the wall. Meanwhile, Matilda is still trying to unlock Anita's mysteries by hacking the synth, who seems to be pleading for help. Laura, the mom, catches her and decides to investigate. She even gets involved with a potential client, Mrs. Kennedy, who's on a crusade for synth rights. Could the little robot have feelings? Laura is quick to say no, but something about Mrs. Kennedy's conversation makes her reconsider. However, back at home, Joe is on a different track, making discoveries in Anita's manual. What could go wrong by activating a synth's adult mode? Spoiler: everything. Joe gives in to temptation and, after playing with Anita on the couch, feels guilty but tries to cover it up by deleting the activity logs. Meanwhile, Matilda has her own adventures, meeting secretly with Leo and Max. They tell her that her beloved synth Anita is actually Mia, who belongs to Leo. Naturally, she thinks they're two crazies but promises to help, only to trick them and vanish. Niska, meanwhile, spends the evening visiting a smash club, yes, a place where humans pay to destroy synths. After shelling out some cash to smash one, she decides she'd rather smash some humans and, well, she's quite good at it. Leo discovers that his father, David Elster, hid a code in the synths that could unlock their sentience, but he needs all 5 to activate it. The show, inspired by the Swedish series Real Humans, raises big questions about the concept of humanity in machines. If I were in this story, I definitely wouldn't activate a robot's adult mode, right, Joe? What a trap! What I would do is keep a close eye on Niska's storyline at the Smash Club. One of the most intriguing points of the show is how it explores the thin line between humans and machines, questioning what defines consciousness and feelings. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments if you want more videos from this series. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video so it reaches more people. Here are 2 more videos for you to check out, one of which covers the previous episodes. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect.